We're going to do a Michael Jordan segment on Hood's Huddle. I wish I could be wearing my Jordan jersey for this. I'm actually on vacation right now, so I don't have my full wardrobe. I don't have my Jordan jersey, but that would be perfect. But it is Michael Jeffrey Jordan's 50th birthday. He, 6-time world champ, 5-time NBA champion, 6 times he went to the finals, 6 times he came out with a ring and the finals MVP. He was a 10-time scoring champion of the league. I mean, for my estimation, I know it's, probably doesn't mean a lot, but I think he's the greatest person to ever touch basketball. I think that, and this is kind of just, us breaking it down here on Hood's Huddle. Just, there's, a lot of debate going on, obviously, with his 50th birthday through all sporting networks, and we feel like we have, some good opinions, and we're going to chime in on it. We're going to start off talking about his legacy. I mean, what do you, obviously, like I said, we're not old enough to go through his whole career. We're not old enough to appreciate the, Jordan from beginning to the end, but we do understand. We have a full knowledge and aware of what our opinions on Jordan. I mean, what stands out for you about Michael Jordan?
I mean, other than the fact that he's hands down the greatest NBA player to touch a basketball, his drive was just ridiculous. That man had more drive, motivation than anybody else. He always put forth his best effort, whether it was practice, tryouts, warm-ups, whatever. He always put it 100% in. So he has an amazing drive and an amazing love of the game. Like, he absolutely loved the game of basketball. I mean, and you can't. What can you say about it? He's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I always bring up the people. We'll get into the LeBron talk with, Jordan later, but people were talking about the one-on-one thing. I always bring up, to me, the difference between Jordan and any player ever is that his refuse to lose. I mean, he really, I hear stories that he would play cards and he wouldn't let you leave the table until he beat you at cards. He wouldn't let you leave the bar until he beat you at pool. He didn't care if he lost you 100 times in a row. He's gonna beat you, and he's not gonna stop until he does, and you can't go home until he does. And I mean, that's just one of those things that, they're saying nowadays, it would suck, lucky for them that, they didn't have the Xboxes or the PS3s, because, nowadays he'd be on the road with his roommate, and if his roommate beat him at Madden or 2K or whatever, he probably wouldn't let the guy go to sleep until he played him and beat him. It's one of those things that, like, and that's the honest truth, from everything I've heard about him. And it's honestly, to me, like you said, his drive, his determination, his willingness to win. He would do anything and everything at all costs to win. He scored 25 points the last 5 minutes of a high school game. He wouldn't pass the ball once. His coach asked him, listen, man, there's no I in team. Walk on the court. He's like, but there is an I in win. That's the kind of things that Michael Jordan does. That's the kind of things that Michael Jordan says. And that's, to me, what separates him as the greatest of all time. I mean, 10-time scoring champion, but he averaged 6 assists throughout his whole career. I mean, he averaged 20 or 30 points throughout his whole NBA career, but he also averaged 6 assists. So it's not like he was a ball hog. I mean, he was Michael Jordan. But at the end of the day, you couldn't deny his skills. You couldn't deny his talents. And
what are you going to do? Tell Michael Jordan no?
Yeah, exactly. If he's making all these shots, I mean, it's one of those things. But I really wish that I was around for obviously his whole career. I mean, it's one of those things that I'll never get to really understand or appreciate fully, in the sense that a lot of other people will. But, up until he won that championship, he was kind of had a LeBron villain, like, until LeBron won his championship last year. He kind of had that villain, like, they say, that he wasn't really well liked. He was people talked bad about him. I mean, he signed that deal with Nike, came out with the Jordan 1s, and the NBA was against people wearing their own brand of shoes. They were like, you have to wear a certain kind or something like that. And he was getting fined every game, and he still wore his shoes. I mean, that's the kind of things he did. Nike, I guess, paid for for all the fines. I guess they were the ones backing him on that one. But at the same time, he was a different person. He was a different kind of player. It was a whole different era. And, Michael Jordan was changing the landscape of it. And then obviously, he wins 3 championships in a row. And I mean, this is like, wow, everyone's talking, he's the greatest player of all time. And, the unfortunate tragic death of his father, he ends up retiring during the off season and goes and plays baseball, which, reports. I guess the scouting report was he couldn't hit a curveball.
It's so impressive that he went and played baseball to the level that he played at after.
Yeah, even if it was minor leagues, it's one of those things that he got to go out there and do something that nobody else probably ever could, ever will. I don't see LeBron James retiring if he wins 2 more and playing some football or some baseball or some hockey or whatever, soccer, whatever his true passion is off of a basketball court. You know what I mean? I don't see him doing that. It'd be impressive. I think, I don't know, it would be Jordan-like, but other than that, I don't. But it's one of those things where Jordan belonged on the basketball court, and he missed a full season, then he missed half of the next season, and in March he returned and won a 4th NBA championship and was the Finals MVP, like he was in the other 3. And he went to the championship 6 times, won 6 NBA championships, and was the MVP in every single one of them. And I mean, that's impressive.
Unreal.
Yeah. I mean, everything he did was just there. You could break down layers upon layers upon layers of his career. And there's not enough you can say about him. You know what I mean? Even when he was with the Wizards, he was still well respected. He was still scoring. He was still doing Jordan. He was trying to get them back up on their feet. He was part of that organization. And, it's one of those things that it's not forgotten in his legacy, but it's one of those things that should be and can be overlooked. It's not. Right. That's not what made Michael Jordan. What made Michael Jordan was all those years with the Bulls. And
absolutely.
But
and then now he owns the Bobcats, and wow.
Yeah, part of the Bobcats organization. He was the GM for a while. He's still in player personnel and management. It's crazy because I think the reason they put him in at GM, and I just read an article about him, and he broke down like LeBron's game like it was nothing. Like he's breaking down. They were watching the LeBron game on TV. He's actually like he's listening to the announcer. He hears LeBron did this. He's like, oh well, he must have went left. And then you watch the replay and LeBron went left. The person who interviewed him said he breaks down players like no other, and that's why they gave him that GM position, because what made him just like a Peyton Manning off the court. He studied and studied and studied and studied and found tendencies and watched players and watched this and watched that. That's what made him different. That's what separated him from the rest at that time. And he can really evaluate players better. So I don't think the Bobcat situation is his fault, but, at the same time, I don't think it's ruining his legacy, but I think it's having a negative impact on who he is and what he is to basketball. It's one of those people talk about the Bobcats. Their first thought isn't Jordan, but at the same time, he's one of their first thoughts, and that's not what that organization really is going for. They want to be known as a team that Michael Jordan's invested in. They want to be known as a team that he's involved in, but at the same time, you want to be known for winning, and they're not. And a big part of that is he gets a lot of scrutiny because of it. So, I mean, do you think that that's going to have an effect, say, 10, 15 years from now? If the Bobcats are still kind of the joke of the league like they have been since they've been in existence, I mean, what are we saying? Does that affect Michael Jordan?
I don't think it, really makes his legacy go down in any rating that it's already at, because he's proven that he's he's the greatest NBA player of all time. He's proven he could do it. He's studied the game so much. He has an unreal knowledge of everything. Like you said, he can break down players at the drop of a hat. I don't see how it would all be his fault. He doesn't have the opportunity. He can't just go spend the money and say, oh, well, we're getting this guy if he sees him on the street. He can't, you know what I mean? He can evaluate the dudes and give them his opinion, but it's on the players that they are available to get. It's on the draft classes, all those kinds of things. So it might have a little impact, but I don't think majorly it really affects the legacy of Michael Jordan.
Do you think, with the Bobcats, with his playing career, and with the brand Jordan, the shoes and shirts and all that, what do you think is going to be, it's all said and done, Jordan we're years, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. What do you think when people say Michael Jordan, what is going to be the first thought? Is it going to be either some success maybe he has some success with the Charlotte Bobcats here, and they take off and he becomes this great renowned, NBA personnel guy, or is his NBA career going to be bigger still, or is that name brand, is the Jordan brand, the shoes, everything? They're all coming back. The old shoes are coming back while they're still making those new shoes. It's ridiculous. He's making, money on top of money because of that. But
absolutely,
what's going to be known more through those three things? What's going to be, more, do you think,
I think it'd probably have to be the career, the label, and then the Bobcats, unless the Bobcats like somehow come out of nowhere and win a ridiculous amount of championships because of him. But even so, I mean, it's him as the career and him as the brand. I feel like are really close and could probably interchange depending. But I would say that the Bobcats will always be third on that list.
When they think Michael Jordan, they're going to think of the 23 in Chicago. I think they're going to think of the playing career. I think people just kind of bystanders are going to think of the and I think that the Bobcats thing still has to play out. You can link that. I think you can link the Bobcats thing up with the career eventually one day if the Bobcats become good and he has a vital part of it.
Between him, LeBron, and Kobe, where do you think they stand?
I mean, I think right now, if you're talking those three players, I think it's got to go MJ first, Kobe second, LeBron third. As of right now, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in LeBron's career in the next 10 years. He has a chance to surpass both of them. I don't think that anybody can question. I don't think anybody can even argue that. As of right now, he's on pace to he's the only person who even has the numbers, has the accolades, has the look, the domination that Jordan had at this point in Jordan's career. Person that people can ever compare with Jordan, but I don't think it's even comparable right now. If you want to talk about Jordan's career at this point, then you could go all day, people could break it down, whatever. But if you look at Kobe Bryant's career, I mean, he won those 3 titles in a row, and people were saying the same thing about him that they were saying about LeBron. Look where he's at now. It's clear that Michael Jordan is head and shoulders above Kobe Bryant. Kobe's good. Kobe's close. Kobe's the closest thing we've ever seen. But Kobe's not Michael Jordan. And, so it's one of those things where it's easy for us to say now, oh, well, look at what happened to Kobe Bryant. But back then, people were comparing Kobe after he won those 3 straight with Shaq. They were saying, oh, Kobe, Kobe next MJ? Is he the next Michael Jordan? And it's one of those things where, if Kobe wins another title, that'll give Kobe as many as Jordan. And I think that people are going to say Kobe might be as good as Jordan then. I don't think he is. I think because of the dominance, I think that's what would separate them. And really, I still would keep Jordan ahead of Kobe. But at the same time, you would have an argument. And if Kobe were to somehow win 2 more in his career, that's a whole new argument. That's a whole new ballgame. And then we're not even talking about LeBron James. Who knows what's going to happen with his career? It's one of those things that we can't predict the future. And I don't I think at the end of LeBron James' career, it's going to be a fun conversation. It's going to be a fun argument. But, we'll be talking about a new guy who's doing what LeBron James is doing now or what Kobe Bryant's doing now. It's one of those things that it's a never-ending conversation. I don't think there's any wrong opinion. I think everybody and anybody has an opinion and can chime in on it. But, I just right now, and I honestly think when it falls, I think that MJ will still be the best. I think that MJ will still overcome, LeBron James' career. I don't know if LeBron's ever going to be able to reach what MJ did. I mean, as of right now, there's nothing saying that I'm right. There's everything is telling everything. If you watch LeBron James, I mean, he's on a ridiculous tear right now, especially in this 2012-2013 season. He's looking unbelievable. The best player since Jordan. He's doing things that Jordan did. He's doing things more than what Jordan did. But I just don't, I think for some reason, he's going to fall off. He's going to fade out a little quicker than Jordan did. And I think that's what's going to keep Jordan head and shoulders above everybody. And like I said, I think Kobe will fall under LeBron at one point. But right now, if we're talking about right now, today, at Michael Jordan's 50th birthday, it's Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, subject to change.
I agree. I mean, I wouldn't argue with you too much there. LeBron definitely has the potential to pass Michael Jordan, but who knows if he's actually going to be able to do it, because that's a tough task to do. Granted, no one else has ever done it.
That's 5 more titles. That's 5 more titles down the road.
Yeah, you got at least 5 years so you can even think about that. Like, granted, he could do it, but he's got plenty of competition. Kevin Durant's really good. I mean, is Kevin Durant going to be the Kobe? Is he going to be second to LeBron, just like Kobe's been second to Michael Jordan all these years? Could it be something like that? That could play into it. That's a story for another day. But
if you look at, I was talking about this yesterday. If you look at Michael Jordan's career, how many different people rivaled him? How many different teams rivaled him? Right now, the Thunder is what's rivaling the Heat and LeBron. But Isaiah Thomas was rivaling the Bulls and Jordan, and then it was Patrick Ewing and the Knicks. I mean, like, it changes. New teams, new faces come in. Nothing against Isaiah Thomas, one of the best players ever, and same with Patrick Ewing. But neither of them were able to do it over Jordan's whole career, where Jordan was able, over those 6 years, neither of those guys were able to break Jordan. Well, you look at KD. KD couldn't break Kobe for this one. You know, I mean, the Thunder have a ridiculously great future, but are they going to be able to beat the Heat, or are the Heat going to just dominate over KD's career? Is it just a bad time for him to enter the game? And if LeBron wasn't in the game, are we talking about KD as good as Jordan? Because KD, look at the scoring titles. KD might have more than 10 scoring titles when it's all said and done. He's going for his, 4 straight this year? He's only 24, 25 years old.
Ridiculous. So
that's
unbelievable. Who knows? I mean, anything can happen. It'll be interesting, but the Heat are definitely the only team that have beaten the Thunder twice this season. They're the only team that's beaten them twice. That's pretty big. Yeah. Especially when that's your biggest competition. So
the Thunder can't beat the Heat. I mean, the Thunder they're completely they look like they're distraught when they're playing the Miami Heat. They look like they forget how to play basketball. They were losing by 25 points in that last game before the All-Star break for most of that game.
Yeah. So we'll see. But so do you think Jordan can play now?
Right now, I think he could play. I think he talked about in an interview, he talked about his weight. I think it was 216 when he played. He talked about he wants to get back at that 216. So I'm thinking somewhere in his mind he thinks he can play. And honestly, when you're talking about Michael Jordan, if he thinks he can do it, trust me, he can do it. But I think Michael Jordan could play in a game if he got himself conditioned in the right way. I'd love to watch him play in an NBA game. I think if we're talking about a one-game deal, I think he drops 45 and just is, like, ridiculous. I think if we're talking about a full season, I think he'd wake up after the first game feeling a little sore, and I don't know if he'd be able to make a whole season. But I don't know. I mean, it's Michael Jordan. I think he could average, he's one of those people, he could average 25, 15, 20, 25 points a game. I'd say if we're talking about Michael Jordan right now, 50 years old, playing in the NBA for a whole season, I think he averaged somewhere between 15 and 20 points, somewhere between 4 and 6 assists, and somewhere between 4 and 6 rebounds per game. And I think he challenges LeBron for the MVP.
I agree. I mean, I would say he could probably average at least 20 points a game. He could probably average at least 4 or 5 assists. And he probably could even get 8 rebounds a game if he really wanted to. So
yeah, you're right. With our numbers, I don't think he could challenge LeBron for the MVP or anybody for the MVP. But I think if we're talking about Michael Jordan playing in a game, it's his numbers are going to be way
putting up those numbers.
Exactly.
That's pretty valuable.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're looking at it. It would be unbelievable. I would love to see him. Honestly, I think he wants to get back in shape. From everything I'm reading, he wants to get back in shape. I think we could see a LeBron one-on-one with Jordan at some point in our lifetime. I think Jordan wants it. I really do. I think though everything I hear about Michael Jordan, I think he really wants it. In a bunch of different interviews I read, he seems like he has a hard time breaking down players. He says he puts Kobe over LeBron. He didn't clarify if that's overall, forever, right now, on legacy, whatever. But I'm saying that I think he has a hard time breaking down LeBron because he understands that LeBron is the closest thing ever to him. Right. And I think that I think he has that kind of, Magic Johnson is the closest thing in size that we've ever seen LeBron, and Magic Johnson couldn't beat him. And Magic Johnson said, if you're talking MJ versus LeBron and they're playing one-on-one 10 times, MJ's going to win 10 times because MJ just refuses to lose. I think that would be my separation from them two.
Right. And I agree. It would be exciting if he would come back, but I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
No. It would definitely be, it would be a sight to see. It definitely, I mean, I already have a Michael Jordan jersey. I'd have another one in my closet for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
That was our overall on Michael Jordan. This show is dedicated to Michael Jeffrey Jordan turning 50. Happy birthday, bud, man. I appreciate everything that you've ever done for the NBA, for sports. I mean, he changed the game, and it's one of those things you can't talk enough on him. Like I said, I wish I was wearing my jersey. I wish I had my full wardrobe with me on this trip because I'd definitely be wearing my MJ jersey. I promise I'm wearing it in another show because it's a fresh jersey. But I'm 22 years old and I have a Michael Jordan jersey. That says so much to what he is, because I was never old enough to appreciate and watch it as it unfolded. But I understand it, and I mean, MJ will live on forever, I think, and I feel like we should have did this show just because we feel like everybody owes him something, more or less, especially us two. He paved the way for what the NBA is now, and we're lucky enough to cover it and talk about it through our little sports show here. So, but MJ, man, 23, out of North Carolina, you can't say enough about that guy.
Yep. So happy birthday to Mike. If you like the video, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. You can catch us you see our Twitter handles up here. You can catch us on Twitter at Hoods Huddle. Like Hoods Huddle on Facebook. We have an Instagram. Check it all out. Follow us. There's big things coming, so just keep watching. If you got questions, send it in to us. I'm more than happy to answer them on the show. Let us know. Let us know how we're doing.
Thank you.